Hello, BMW fans. So this one is for you. I like this car. I've always known about this car. When I lived in Colorado, my friend had one of these. Granted, it wasn't a turbo. It was just I think, a regular 2002. But the little story on this one. First is this was produced between 1966 and 1977, and how it came about is two employees at BMW, Helmut Bonch, the director of product planning, and an Alex von Falkenhausen. He was the designer of the M10 engine. They each had a 1600 02 series BMW, and they did an engine transplant. They each put in 2-liter engines for their own personal rides. And so they got together and they proposed an idea to BMW's board of directors, to manufacture a 2-liter version of the 1600. So, and at the same time, New Yorker Max Hoffman, who's famous for coming up with the idea for the Mercedes 300 SL, he was asking for a sporting version of the 02 series, because the 1600 was good, but it could have been faster. So that's how this thing came about. So the first, there's two engine options. So the first engine was a single carburetor, and it made 100 horsepower. But then there was a dual carburetor version making 120 horsepower. But then in 1973, the turbo came out, and the turbo was BMW's first turbocharged production car, and it made 170 horsepower. So that's pretty good for early 70s. Yeah, unfortunately, this was right before the OPEC oil crisis, so only less than 1,700 of these things were made, so they're pretty rare, I imagine they're very valuable now. So let's first start with the dimensions. I know this is no way 1/64 scale, it's just huge. But the dimensions online are telling me it's 4,219 millimeters, so let's take a look. I'm going to guess it's in the 1/50th range, but I might be wrong. Okay, so I'm getting 69.37. Well, it's actually right at a little under 161 scale, so it's not in the 50s. So, yeah, it's still a bit large. And you might be wondering why I don't buy the Schuko one. Well, I feel that the Schuko is kind of lazy. They put in the bumpers, and bumpers are molded in like this Hot Wheels, but they cost more, and they have really blobby looking mirrors. So I think like Schuko's quality is more on line with this Hot Wheels than it is, say, a Kyosho. They're just not real detailed enough with the molded in parts like that. Whereas like a Kyosho or Inno, they would have separate pieces for the bumpers and separate mirrors and stuff like that. So that's why I haven't bought one. But this model is inexpensive enough that I'm gonna do a little 3D wheel project. So let's before I get into that though, let's talk about the casting here. So what's nice is I see that it's got the silver door handles, and then the printing is all tampoed, so that's pretty nice. It's got the nice M colors, M Motorsport colors, and it seems to be running mini lights, but I'm going to try to find original wheels reference. What is this bump here? Is that the fuel filler cap? I imagine so, because it's only on that side of the car. Okay. I think the headlights are pretty good, for printed on lights. It's better than just plain silver, which is one reason why I don't like green lights or Auto Worlds or M2s. This at least has some detail, making it look three-dimensional. So it's pretty good, Hot Wheels. Unfortunately, this grille is not very good. There's no horizontal lines. It's just flat. I don't see why they wouldn't mold in some horizontal lines there. Okay, would have been nice to have a little silver here around the kidneys as well, and some black paint. Would have been nice to have theirs, but I'm not seeing it. They did get that though. There's a separate hole here on the real car, so that's good. The tires are seem to be sticking out or close to it. Alright, this side, no problems. Okay. The blue isn't covering that edge though. No, it's not covering it there either. Okay. Well, the taillights, they look pretty good to me. I mean, it's interesting. I didn't notice this, but only half of it's red. The top half is white. I imagine those are the backup lights, and then the bottom half is red. I'll have to look at photos of the real car. But anyways, the 2002 and the BMW logo look pretty good. little indication of like a license plate and the keyhole thing. This is a really nice paint actually. Well, now I'm looking at it with the naked eye here. It's like a pearlescent. It's a pearl white. It's really nice. Yeah, I like it. And well, there's a little paint chip or something right here. So that's too bad. I was gonna say it's really nice casting. Like I don't see many scratches or gouges. It's just I don't know if that's a gouge or not, or a contaminant. So I wonder like how old is this casting? 2011. Wow, this thing goes back. Well, the mold must have been new because it's really nice. It's not an old mold, at least. The design is pretty old, but it looks great. A little paint contaminant there, though. This might be the best Hot Wheels I've purchased to date, actually. I mean, it's not 100% perfect, but the price isn't astronomical, so I guess I'm a little more lenient with the imperfections. So I do also like that the side windows aren't there, so you can see some interior details. Granted, Hot Wheels doesn't seem to put great detail into their interiors, but again, it's for the price. Okay, so I guess I'm gonna have to just try to find some cool reference for some original wheels. I'm gonna probably narrow these down as well. These are really wide tires, like pretty much full-on track use. But I think I'm gonna go with more narrow tires, so it looks more like a street car. But just hang on, and I'll be back. Okay, and I'm back with some wheels here. I even this time around put in the little air valve there. Although it's really hard, I can't even paint it. It's so small. But also there is actually air passing between these spokes. Maybe you can tell with the light there. Yeah. So they remind me of rally wheels, actually, how they catch the air around the perimeter and force it into the brakes, or maybe it's sucking air out of the brakes. I'm not sure if it goes in or out, to be honest with you. But other than that, I just added some black Sharpie here to those inlets, and that's about it. I was afraid to paint the bumper. It's just such a difficult shape that I didn't want to mess it up, so that's why I left it. Here's a reference photo I found for the wheels here. And let's take a look here. Yeah, I mean, I think it's better than the wheels that it came with. It's just the wheels that I did, by the way. I actually preserved the tires. So I just took the tires off the old one, clipped them off, and then printed the new ones, and then put them back onto the stock axles even, using some super glue. So, okay, well anyways, let's get Mr. Spins out. And it seems like there's a fruit fly in my photo booth here. But yeah, I'm hoping that maybe some premium brand will take on this particular car. I think the most likely guess would be Schuco, but I think they only have a regular 2002, not a turbo with the fender flares. So, but I'd appreciate one with separate bumpers in the rear there, a separate chrome plastic bumper. So, well, I guess only time will tell, but in the meantime, I guess this oversized Hot Wheels will do the job, because it does look nice. It's just not 1/64 scale. That's its major drawback for me. But it'll sit in my display case until something better comes along. Okay, well, auf Wiedersehen.